The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to another edition of the RailCats Talk podcast. I am your host, Kyle Savetic, and I know I've been out of the office. I haven't really done a lot of podcasts, post-game podcast, however you want to spin it. But I wanna talk. We're about 2 games away from the halfway point of the year, and I'll probably get a podcast out at the halfway point to make sure all the stats and everything are confirmed. But I just want to have a discussion. I would like more of an opinion from everyone. At some of the roster moves, I want to say that has been played out in our favor, or maybe in our favor. I guess I'm really scratching my head at the Zach Rakusin being let go, being released. I didn't even see that Zach Wells got released. That's the hard part about trying to keep everything in track and trying to see. It's one of those I have to go and look every day at who's been released and who hasn't. Just because, yes, the American Association puts out a post, and I think they put something out about like 7 o'clock at night with all the people that have been activated or been released. But if you miss it, like, you missed it. Like, the RailCats don't post nothing. No one posts. I mean, I guess you don't want to post people being released, but still, I think that everyone should do a better job of being able to let everyone know, because if you miss a day or two, next thing you know, you're like, oh, what happened to this person, that person? So you bring in Victor Nova, right? And that guy's been on a tear right now. I mean, he's batting 333. He's played in 4 games. He has 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 RBIs, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and walked twice, and has stolen 2 bases already. So I think bringing in Nova was a very good gesture, bringing him in. And then Jesus Mariaga, who's been on a tear for 20 games, almost, he's at 19, right? But he's batting at 375, which leads the team. And just imagine, if Jesus Mariaga was with the team the entire year, what stats he was able to bring out. I mean, in 19 games, he has 14 RBIs. When you look at Lingua and Woodworth, who've played 48 games, played every single game, Woodworth has 14 RBIs and Daniel Lingua has 25. Jesus Mariaga is tied with Woodworth with almost half less game. Wait, not even halfway. It's mind blowing that if the visa and all that didn't work out, who knows? Jesus Mariaga might be. He's playing like he should be in AA, AAA right now. Which kind of scares me a little bit why they got rid of Zach Rakusin. I can understand the Wells a little bit. He played 20 games, but yet again, when you look at everyone else, you got JV, and I think JV Edward is on the team for one. His ability to catch, his defense is outstanding. The guy's defense is outstanding, and he deserves to be on a team that has great outfielders and can be substituted anywhere. He's a good pinch runner. You need the speed, which, yet again, you wonder why, they got rid of Rookert and Wells. They both had some bit of speed to them. But, or even KV Edwards, at this point, everyone that's been released, Rakusin is top at 218, and KV Edwards was at a 194 before being released. Javion Williams is the lowest on the active roster at 177 at a 177 line. But with that being said, you have Chris Burgess, who seemed like he started to find his strides a little bit, and then Sam Abbott kind of went back and forth with that. I mean, Abbott is 2 home runs away from hitting 10. And I think that's the first time, since 19 that a RailCat has hit double digits home runs. So, and even here's the biggest odd thing. Last year, the RailCats ended at 40 home runs. Right now, as I'm speaking, they have 34 home runs, and we're not even at halfway point yet. So this team has definitely hit home runs. They have the power to hit the home runs. Bringing in this Victor Nova guy, he's gonna hit home runs. I mean, Abbott hits home run. Burgess, if he can get around to it, if he get on it, he can. Michael Cruz is starting to heat up a little bit. Walraven, he's starting to heat up. He's starting to find his flow. I think the movement from the bottom of the lineup to the beginning of the lineup has really helped that out. I mean, were we at the beginning of the year when I was reading off the numbers? I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the year, you would look and say, yeah, this team is struggling because they were all either under or at 250. A lot of them were in the ones. So things are starting to turn around. So as I sit here and I go, when I look at this lineup offensively, because I mean this is the biggest struggle. I think you could put a handful of games, maybe a handful of games on the pitching. Especially the last podcast I did where they walked 11 people. I think they were playing Chicago and they walked 11 people. Like, when you walk 11 people, you ain't gonna win a lot of games. So you put that, all right. That you put a little pitching. I know they scored like one run, but this offense, what is it? Does this offense fail time in and time out? What's the inconsistency with this team? And I was reading through the comments. I think the RailCats posted, they lost. I think it was the 11 to what game was it? Let me pull it up here. Real instant. It was the Kansas City game. Yeah, my bad. It was a Kansas City game. Where they lost 10-3. That's what it was. It's the Kansas City game where they lost 10-3. And I sat there and I thought to myself, it wasn't that they weren't hitting. It's that, how should I put it? This team, there's a handful of people that I can look at this lineup and go, yeah, you're going to strike out at least twice. All right. But those are your power hitters. You got your Michael Cruz is going to do that. Sam Abbott's going to do that. Even Chris Burgess is going to do that. But when I sit there, I look, and I mean, you can even put Mariaga at this point right now because he strikes out one time per game. I mean, I guess you could even put Lingual in that aspect of it too, because he has 46 strikeouts. But, or even Olin. I mean, there's a handful that at least they strike out once per game. And our strikeouts, I hate strikeouts. But the ones that I don't like are the backwards Ks, the ones looking. And I think that's gotten a little bit better. There's still, like I said, there's still a handful. I think Sam Abbott and Alec Olin are a little bit on the side of, hey, you got to be swinging the bat. Like, I would rather you go down swinging than anything. If you get fooled on a pitch, you get fooled on a pitch. That should be a rare oddity, getting fooled on a pitch. You know what I'm saying? If you guess wrong, whatever the case may be. But then, I guess for me, it's the people that argue the fact that, that should have been a ball. Well, yeah, it should have been, but it's strike three, so go sit down. Don't argue it. You learn from it, go on. I'm not saying that the American Association umpires are any great or any good. Some of them are consistent, some of them are inconsistent, but you just have to roll with the punches. That's the beautiful thing about baseball, is you have to roll with the punches and you have to move on. So besides the strikeouts and all that, I look elsewhere and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 batters that are in double digits of a walk. And I would like to see maybe a little bit more walks from certain people. I think when I look at the lineup, when you look throughout the games, it's a lot of early innings, you're out early often. Right? It may be 2 pitches here and there. I'll just bring up my little handy dandy book here. This was a Kansas City game. I think it was the one that they lost. No, maybe it was because this is what I think Sheik's got hurt. Yeah, this was the last game that I was able to do a podcast. When I looked at the first inning, Raven went out on 2 pitches. Woodworth went out on 2 pitches. Lingua went out on 4 pitches, and then Cruz 1 pitch. Mariaga 5 pitches. Nova 1 pitch. Not until the 3rd inning, at the top of the 3rd, was there's a full count. I mean, even at that, Houston flew out to right. Olin in 2 pitches. Raven had a full count. Like, it doesn't seem like they're jumping on the first pitch that they see and they want to just go with it. And I'm not saying that they're not justified, because a lot of them are kind of down the middle or pretty close, that they're hittable, but they're hitting at 2 people. I don't think that where the offense is failing is it's not that it's not being consistent, because they can hit the ball. They're just not getting hits. There's a complete difference. They're able to hit the ball, but they can't get the ball through the gaps or get the ball down the line. They can't get those oddities in and out. And when they start getting those oddities in and out, then it turns into scenario number 2. They can't drive anyone in. Now, you may say, well, Kyle, what about last night's game? They won 9-1. They were driving in everyone. You're right. They were. That is against teams that, one, they should beat and are capable of beating. I am talking about your Chicago Dogs, your Kansas City Monarchs, your Fargo Moorhead Redhawks, the top of the top, the top cream, the boys on top that are looking down on everyone else. This team, with their pitching staff, is very capable of beating any team on any given night, but it's their offense. Their defense has gotten a hell of a lot better. There are some issues that I still have. I think Cruz, his offense is picking up, but behind the plate, there's just a couple things that I would like to see him adjust or clean up or something. I mean, you're going to have those oddities, errors here and there. Okay, let me put this in perspective for you, for Michael Cruz. Okay, Lingua and Cruz are tied at the most errors at 8. Okay, let's just go around and just look here at the leaders. All right, we're just not leaders. What am I looking at? Look at standings, okay? Let's look at the Chicago Dogs, for instance, okay? Let's go to Chicago. Let's go... No, that's stats. All right, let's go to their catcher, all right? Lidge, right? Catcher. He is the top of the top for them. He is batting the highest at 361. He has played in 47 games. Guess how many years? 0. Zilch. None. Not a single one. Even Bauer, the other catcher, not a single one. No issues. Nothing. All right. So let's look at Kansas City. All right. Let's look at their stats here. All right. Let's look at their catcher, Escara. All right. In 29 games, he has 1 error. 1 error. Let's look at. Let's go with Fargo Moorhead here. All right, their catcher. That's a new guy, Correa. All right, he's played in 41 games. He has 3 errors. All right, he played in 41 games, has 3 errors. Are you starting to see what I'm trying to get at? Is 8 errors, 8 errors on a catcher, right, is a huge deal. The reason I say that is because there was like 3 games where it was kind of Cruz's fault that this happened. You know what I'm saying? Where the runner scored or whatever. When a catcher makes an error, that is huge, right? That's potentially 8 runs he's given up. 8 runs himself in errors. That could be throwing errors. That could be just pass balls. Like 8 errors, that's just one. That's way too many. He can block. Don't get me wrong, he can block sometimes, but his catching ability, the ball. I don't know how many times he drops a ball in a single game. I guess for me, I guess the reason I get so frustrated is because this team I know is capable of being a good team. They have the pitching staff. You have 3 All-Stars in the pitching rotation. 3! And you even saw Harrison Francis put on a show last night. Yeah, he only had like 4 strikeouts, but guess what? He went 7 innings. He is the first RailCat this season to go 7 innings. Now, granted, I think some of that on Lamar Rogers kind of slowly putting them in the innings, coasting them, letting them build that stamina up, which I'm perfectly fine with if that's what you want to do. But it's just like, dang, it's the first time the pitcher's gone that far, and there's just so many. Your pitching staff is been so well for you guys for the RailCats. I mean, you brought in Medea, who's pitched very well. I mean, he's just one pitching and one out, that kind of deal. Leaf Strong, yeah, that kind of sucks he left, but Josh Vincent's been a workhorse for you. Chris Irwin's been a workhorse. Jack Eisenberger, Harrison Francis has lowered his ERA down a lot. Heidenfeller's been doing really well. I mean, you just look at the pitching staff. I know Sheeks is out for right now. Aaron Phillips. I mean, the staff has been very good, and I think them grabbing in a couple more hitters like Nova and Mariaga, getting them back, is going to help out. The identity of this RailCats offense is that they will make you pay if you let them make you pay. This team can hit the ball. They can hit it out the park. They have the power. They have players that can hit it and hit it far. Sam Abbott, one of them. Some of it sometimes is, one, inconsistent, or 2, they just can't drive people in. They get people and they just fail. You can go back and look at any scorebook and see that, a lot of the times it's just, like I said, even in the last game that I did a podcast, I mean, you had to wait till the second inning until someone struck out. I look and it's just not I don't see a lot of Ks. I mean, you see Ks from certain people, but sometimes the Ks add up if it's against a good pitcher. But it's just a matter of when they get people on base to be able to, one, do a job, right? I don't expect home runs every time that Sam Abbott comes up to bat. I expect him to be able to take the ball and hit the ball. That's what I expected. And I guess that was I guess for me, what I'm so confused by is why Zach Rakusin got let go. Because he is the bottom right now. He was the bottom of the double digits RBIs at 13. Right? Heck, Javier Williams has 7 RBIs and he's played in less games. He's a guy that you would probably want to pinch hit, and let him go with it. I don't know yet. I don't know why. I mean, it's odd for me. I guess I don't understand what. I'm just trying. Maybe it's because Rakusin, or because Walraven is starting to pick it up, and then with him picking it up, and then you bring in Nova, that gives you a DH role, that gives you rotation, that gives you something. And Mariaga being able to, the way he's batting, I don't think you could take him out of the lineup batting a 375, which is amazing. I mean, he would be a hands down all-star, no issue if he played longer. I mean, heck, the games that he was barely in, like the first 10 games he played, I think he should have been all-star. But he didn't play all season, and this and that. I mean, he's played in 19 games, has 14 RBIs, yeah, he has one home run, but if you can bring people in clutch situations, you go right ahead and do it. I don't know. I guess some of the moves that have been made this year, I kind of question. I mean, um, I get Ray Jones is a fan favorite. MJ Rooker fan favorite. I like MJ Rooker. I thought he played very well. He had the speed. I thought he was good. Um, I just some of these players I just don't feel like really got an opportunity to play and show what they can do. I mean, even JVN Edwards, I just don't JVN Williams, I just don't think they have given him the opportunity, and even KV Edwards, I don't think they gave them the opportunity to succeed because you're playing OLED all the time, and I don't know. I look and I forget what the setup was yesterday. How they had everything set up, but I don't know. I don't know. The identity of this team to me is, I was thinking about it all day. They can beat the teams that they need to beat. They struggle against a good competition. But I don't think that they're a bad team. They're not a team. They're not the team they were last year. They are not that team. They have the pitching. I think Lamar Rogers has done a very good job of getting a pitching staff together. He's starting to get the players that he needs to be successful. It's just some of them aren't consistent in the aspect of being able to drive in runs or getting on base. I want to see more walks. I want to see let me see, I'm just trying to think here. Okay, when I look let's look at on base percentage right now. Okay, so Nova's number, and I guess I'll take this back. Cruz has gotten on base a lot. So has Linguan, Woodworth, and Olin have got on base. I mean, even Raven's got on base a lot. I mean, most of them are in the 300s, even Burgess, Jackson. The slugging, if you want to look at slugging, Nova's Nova's at 667. Mariaga's at a 542. Abbott's at 466. Lingual's at a 444. Woodworth at 408. Cruz 370. OPS, Nova leading that right now. I don't know. I want to see more the ability to run a pitcher's count high, to battle off pitches that aren't good, or to battle as far as being down 0-2 and coming back and getting a walk, or putting some pressure on when you get on base. Just don't immediately think, oh, go ahead and steal. And I think that's another thing that the RailCats have. It seems like Lamar Rogers has gone away from, is stealing. Lingual was up there in the stealing. Then I mean, people are gonna catch on that you're stealing, right? But I just don't feel like, I think this team has shifted from that small ball to that big ball play, to where it's the home runs or nothing. And it needs to be a nice mixture. All right, I think it needs to be a nice mixture. There was a couple things, that I wanted to get off my chest. And when I'm sitting there thinking, this team can hit the ball. They have hit the ball. It's just a matter of them getting hits. This team can pitch. That has never been in question this year. Yeah, a couple rocky starts here and there. Yeah, a couple rocky relief, appearances here and there. And sometimes getting put in tough situations is a rough scenario for a lot of pitchers. But they've also done a very good job of getting the bases loaded and then getting out of the innings. They've done well getting out of situations. Sometimes the situation just eats you up, and sometimes you dominate the situations. It's just one of those things. I just think that the flip side of that, I think the pieces are starting to kind of come together for the RailCats on the batting side. Am I saying that they may not be up there with Chicago? They may not be up there with Kansas City. I think this team is very young. I mean, it is a very young team. I think if they want to be successful, you know, to take the next step is to go out and get a couple veterans that maybe have had MLB experience, that have maybe played in the AAA for a couple handful of years or something, some kind of affiliated ball, that can kind of work with the rest of the players and get them to overcome certain hurdles, or be a shoulder to lean on to, in this situation, what would you do? I think you need something like that. I think Matt Adams is a good example of an MLB player, and all those players get to lean on him, and what makes him click makes them click. What got him to a certain, it makes everyone better, right? I think they need that experience. It's the same thing with any kind of professional team. If you have too many rookies in one room, they just don't have that experience. They may have all the talent in the world, right? They may have all the talent in the world, but sometimes they don't know how to use that talent, if that makes sense. Sometimes they don't know in a certain situation what they should be thinking or what they should be doing. Once you get in those scenarios, you learn from your mistakes, and that's the beautiful thing about why when you look at rookies that can overcome those different challenges, they become superstars. Some people come right out of the gate and are superstars no matter what they do. They may have a couple of hiccups in here and there. It's not that big of a deal. But the ones that start off a little rough, but they learn and they progress and they get better. I think that's what you're starting to learn. Like what I'm getting from Michael Cruz. He's a perfect example. He was struggling throughout the beginning of the year, but he's starting to get better. He's starting to see the ball. He's starting to, But just imagine if you had a veteran guy in this room, or maybe even a spark plug. You need someone that is how should I say it? Someone that no matter what goes on during the week or during the game is always someone that has a smile on their face, can get the team motivated, something going, just a little spark plug. But I think more or less they need a veteran player, because in certain situations that would be a better off thing. In this count, what should I be looking for? This pitcher does this, and that kind of stuff. I think having a pitcher or having a veteran guy, or maybe a couple veteran guys, not so much to take spots of the younger guys. If this is what the RailCats organization is about, if they want to promote people, they want to get people to move to the next level, get out of our system, and you go play ball, and you get that you get that experience, and you go play affiliated ball and maybe make the MLB one year. If that's their ultimate goal, don't bring in veteran guys that are going to take places of young people, but maybe help with the scenario. A lot of this is, you could probably blame it on the hitting coach. You could say, oh, we need a new hitting coach. I don't really think it's on the hitting coach. You can practice, you can tell all you want all year long, and if the players are still going to do it, that's on the players. They're not overly aggressive. They're not too timid. So I don't think it's the way... I think it's a lot of it's the players. I think a lot of the time when you look at a player, I don't think it's not mechanical failures. There's hardly any mechanical failures. Yeah, you get a couple pop outs here and there, or a couple bad swings, but it doesn't... I think they let them bat to the way they should be batting, that the mechanics aren't off. It doesn't look like it's a mechanical change throughout the lineup. I think it's just more of a mental state. They want to get the hits. They want to go. They want to get on base. But that doesn't always happen, and they can't seem to find the holes. So I think that's why it would be nice to have a veteran present in that locker room, someone that has played with a lot more experience, that kind of deal, to someone that's going side by side to make people better. I mean, I like having Abbott and Burgess. I think Abbott has been taking more of the role than Burgess has. I thought Brett Houston was good for Walraven to battle it out and give him time to figure things out. I mean, I think I would like to see Jackson Smith get a little bit more attention, be able to, play. If in a perfect world, maybe when I just going ahead and just look at, when I sit here and I think about it, a couple players that could play defensively. I think Michael Cruz can be your DH most of the time, and then have Jackson Smith be your catcher majority of the time. I think he's a better defensive catcher. I really think he personally is. I mean, he's played in 20 games. He's still batting at 238. He has 3 doubles, 2 RBIs, 1 walk. He does strike out quite a bit, but with most of them, they kind of do in that sense of things. I mean, Sam Abbott is the killer. I mean, he played in 32 games and he has 56 strikeouts. That leads the most on the team. He averages about 2 strikeouts per game, I would say, around that portion of it. But what are you gonna do? I'm not the coach, and this is a good situation if I'm Lamar Rogers. Is that exact reason? And when I look at this lineup, it's hard for me to say, yeah, we should take that guy out, put this guy in, because that guy is definitely better than that guy. I know that baseball now is all driven around who can hit the ball and who has a better slugging percentage, who has a better, this and that. But sometimes if you want to win games, you need a person that maybe, may not get hits all the time, but gets hits in key situations. Someone that's consistent in the aspect of, they're going to get on base at least 3 times a game. That kind of thing. I think they just need to learn to tack. They need to get, when they get a runner on, just don't immediately go, all right, I'm going to swing at the next pitch and see what happens. I mean, a prime example is Margay hit a double, and then Nova went out in 4 pitches. Sometimes it's okay to foul things off, or whatever the case may be. I just want to see consistency is what I'm trying to get at. I think this lineup can be consistent. It's good and consistent against teams that aren't. I'm looking at that's the thing is when I sit here and I look at that, I watch these RailCats play, and I get so frustrated. It's not that I get frustrated. When a team's bad, and you kind of roll with the punches. This team can be very, very good. We've seen them be very, very good. And then they fall off. And then they get them really good. And then they fall off. Like they take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. You know what I'm saying? Losing 6 games straight to the Dogs and to the Monarchs, that's rough. You don't want that. When I'm looking at the schedule, those games I was saying you have to win at least 4 of those games, and they didn't win any of them. Or even if you won 3 of those games, you'd still be maybe go 500 against really good teams, and then you want to be about 600 against bad teams. 600 or 700. You want to get a couple sweeps. You want to get a couple wins in a row. This and then the bad teams you want to go about 500 against, 4 or 500 around that aspect of the win-loss percentage. And that's just me though. I would love to hear what you guys think, what you think the team's identity is, what you would like to see from the team. Coming on to the halfway point, I'll ask the question and I'll answer my own question once we get to the halfway point for the RailCats, once they hit their 50 games. Who's been the team's most valuable player at this point? Who's been a guy that you can lean on and say, you know what, you're right. This guy, when he comes in, he's consistent in and day out. He comes in big situations. I mean, there's a handful of players I can think of. That's the hard part, is there's a handful of players that you can think of. What should, or what's the going down the second half, if they do pick up more people, who should they pick up? And if there's a possibility of someone being let go, who's that possibility? Those are the answers that are going to be eventually answered for us. But just getting everyone else's idea. What is their, what are you guys thinking? How are you guys thinking? What you would like to see this team does? What do you think the team does really well? What do you think the team needs to improve on? Those kind of questions. So if you could comment on that, I would put everything in perspective once I get everyone together, or when I sit there and I do the podcast at the 50 game mark and all that other good stuff. It's been a fun year, and I want to appreciate everyone that has subscribed, that has liked the Facebook page, that has commented. You make this by you doing that makes me want to do this, right? The more love I get, the more love I'm gonna put out, the more content I want to put out, because I like hearing everyone else's voice. Because this is Indiana's team right now, right? I mean, you got the AAA affiliate, the Indianapolis Indians, but like up in this area here, like this is what we got. All right, this is our professional team. We got no one else. Right? Chicago's got all their professional teams. Northwest Indiana don't got a professional team. I mean, you can classify as a professional team, but we don't have that, right? And I want people to realize how fun the games actually are to go to, being involved. So when they go to the games, they know who the players are. They have an idea what this person's going to do. I want people to realize that the RailCats still exist, and that they're going to be turning a page here, and they're going to be exciting times ahead of us, and that we need the people. I need people. We want people to be at the games. We don't want to go there and it just be half-empty stadium. I want a full stadium. I want people to be excited. RailCats fans in general, you guys are just so excited to be at the games, wins or loses. You just want to be there. You want to enjoy the atmosphere. So let's just get more people on the bandwagon. Let's pull them in. All right, tickets are cheap, beer's cheap, food's cheap. Fuck it, everyone, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So just get more people in. All right. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for me. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, because I sure as heck did. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're listening to this. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter at RailCats Talk, and subscribe to me on YouTube. Comment, like, all that good stuff. I will comment back. I will have a podcast episode of At the Halfway Point, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. I know we had a terrible thing happen in Highland and there in Illinois. Tragedy, but with life, it still moves on. But with that, I hope everyone had a safe 4th of July. Enjoyed it as best as you could. I'm your host, Kyle Svedich, and go Cats.